Hey guys, this is Chris from Empire Bricks and welcome to another LEGO Star Wars set review. Today we're having a look at set 75190, the First Order Star Destroyer. The set was released in 2017. It comes with 1416 pieces, has 7 minifigures, and it retails for $159.99 in dollars and $149.99 in euros. So guys, another Star Destroyer. We have seen a few in the past decade and a little bit. This is the latest iteration, but it is the first one that is not actually Imperial, not counting the Venator, of course, but definitely something new. It's not a re-release, even though the model, of course, looks a lot like previous Star Destroyers. But before we look at the ship itself, let's have a closer look at the minifigures. Like I said, it comes with 7 minifigures. But as you can see, if we are totally honest with ourselves, it comes with maybe 6, but I would say 5.5 minifigures, which is kind of on the low end for a build like this, but and nevertheless some really cool stuff. So let's start with the first one. The most important one, of course, is Supreme Leader Snoke. Now he has this pearl gold almost bathrobe thing going on. By now, I think everybody has seen The Last Jedi, so that this is no spoiler or anything anymore. But this is the robe that he's wearing in the throne room when he is eventually killed. There's not too much detail. The head, it looks very cool. The scarring on the face looks quite correct, and as you can see, there is a little bit of printing on the back as well, so more scarring. Basically, the only thing is, what I don't like is that this figure has a regular minifig head, and Snoke has a somewhat elongated body and face. This being a regular minifigure, I think it is a little bit too small for how tall Supreme Leader Snoke really is, although I don't really see how they could have solved that easily. So cool minifigure, was exclusive to the Star Destroyer, but by now we know that there is an upcoming throne room set where he will also be in, so that will be easier to get him instead of in this expensive set. Next up is a First Order officer. Now this is a really cool figure as well. You can see the printing is nothing too special, just some simple lines, but you can see the metallic silver printing details that really stand out to the dark gray background, and it's hard to tell, but the figure itself, it's not dark bluish gray, it's somewhat of a gunmetal gray metallic color, which is very nice. I would have liked some kind of badge kind of indicating that this is an officer like we would see with the Imperial officers, but nonetheless a really cool minifigure. No secondary head or face because you can see that underneath the cap, and also this minifigure comes with a regular small blaster. Moving on, we get to the First Order Stormtrooper officer. Quite a mouthful, but just taking a quick look at both, we can actually see that there's not that big of a difference with the regular Stormtrooper, just a pauldron. Nothing new here to see. Back all the same, just a pauldron that is different. Underneath the helmet we have a angry clone face, and it comes with a medium-sized blaster. And that brings me to the fourth minifigure, which, just like I showed you now, is a regular one. Basically the same, just without the pauldron. Also comes with a medium-sized blaster. So 2 Stormtroopers, nothing army building material, but still it's nice to have at least 2 ones, and one that you can actually use as a regular if you wanted to. Then we have a First Order shuttle pilot. Now this one is actually pretty cool. The printing itself is nothing special. I mean, we have seen this from battle packs before. The crew members get really plain printing. I think that is, this is almost a plain black figure, which is kind of a letdown, but the helmet itself is really awesome. Quite detailed and different from the one that we have seen in the battle packs. I think basically this is the same helmet, but the visor is turned upwards now, or at least it looks that way, even though you cannot really adapt the visor. If we take a look underneath, there is no secondary face, so this is a very plain figure, but a very cool new helmet mold, and it comes with a small regular blaster. So those are all the regular minifigures. 5 of them. We have 2 more that are counted as minifigures. So here we have BB9E. Now this is a figure, if we can call him that a lot of people would really like. He is exclusive to this set at the moment, and he is basically the evil counterpart of BB-8. Very cool figure indeed, even though it's not a real minifigure. This is truly something exclusive and just looks amazing. The printing on all sides seems to be the same and kind of similar to that of BB-8, except that the headpiece is not round but kind of conical. But yeah, very nice figure. Printing is straight on, so that is good. You see with the round pieces that Lego tends to have some trouble printing everything straight, but that went okay here. So this is officially the 6th minifigure, but I'm counting that as a half. And then we get to something totally different, and that's kind of a pity. So we have a 7th figure, and this is and I have to check that, an IT-000 interrogation droid. And this is basically a completely brick-built minifigure, if I can call it that. Yeah, I'm not sure what I think about this. It's definitely not a minifigure in my eyes. This is something that compares to the mouse droid on the Imperial Star Destroyer. It's nice to have, just it's not a minifigure. I'd rather have seen another stormtrooper or crew member involved. So this is the 7th minifigure. It's officially the 7th, so it has to be here. But in my opinion, you basically get 5.5 minifigure, and this one is just a brick build extra. So having said all that about the minifigures, let's move on to the actual set. Putting the figures on the side, having a closer look at the overall shape and size, kind of putting him in position over here. We can have a closer look, and we can see that the overall shape is basically not very different from what we have seen before from Star Destroyers, although I have to say that compared to set 75055, which is I believe the last Star Destroyer, we can see a lot more detail and greebling on all sides. Also there is stud shooters over here on the side, so there's 4 of them. They cannot be turned like the blasters on the previous Star Destroyer, but they do actually fire. And I think this is a very cool solution, taking up much less space, because that is something that the previous Star Destroyer had. Now, from the outside, that's it concerning the functionalities. The previous model, you had the bridge piece, which was much higher up, and there was a middle console piece that you could take out, and there was a handle with which you could pick up the Star Destroyer. Well, the handle is still here, so that works fine, very well balanced, very sturdy, so that's very good. You cannot take out any center part. You actually have to flip up the bridge area, and now you can actually access these sides and flip it open. So I'm going to do that, and we can see the inside. Now this is a little bit hard to film because there's a lot of black going on, but first have a look at the plating. So this is way more than a few bricks thick, so it's very thick and very sturdy, and that's really cool, and it gives you that layered effect on the outside over here. So that's a very good detail piece, and takes up the space that would normally be used for the moving blasters in the previous model. So having a closer look at the inside, here is kind of the bridge where the officers would be seated, and you have these trenches with computers, and I think this is one of the most beautiful parts of the ship. The trenches are very well integrated, and other than with the previous models, this actually feels like a very used space. There's almost no waste in space that has been left open. There is room for 4 crew members over here, so if you have some battle packs with the other version of this guy, you can actually fill it up with those figures and have them over there. Maybe some officers. There's a console piece over here. There's a console piece over here, which, by the way, are stickers. So this one and this one are stickers. These, on the other hand, are printed pieces, and I think they didn't want to repeat the same piece too much, so they opted for some stickers for the sake of variety, I guess. This is a sticker detail as well, the wall pattern, and all these are stickers as well. So there's a lot of stickers going on in this set. I do believe the set looks great because of those stickers, but they were absolute murder to apply. They are thin stickers, so these are actually not double-sided, just this is one small thin sticker, and so are these, and it's very hard to apply them correctly and neatly with your fingers. And any child or anyone under the age of 16 or someone who hasn't built Lego that much will have a lot of trouble applying all those stickers. So that's kind of, I think, the biggest downside of this set is the stickers, the minifigure count and the stickers. Having said that, it still looks absolutely amazing, and I'm very pleased with how well they used all this space in here. There is no waste, and you can, like I said, you can put 4 figures in here. I think you could easily fit 10 figures in this small area, even though you could not close it up anymore. You can only leave these seated and then close it up, I think. Moving on to another section of the build. Like I said, a lot of black. So this is another area. There's a meeting table over here with 2 chairs and I guess a place where some officers could discuss plans and stuff. Here is more sticker detailing. There's another sticker console over here, and this is somewhat of a dashboard where you could put an officer or crew member. And then we get to the elevator, and that is something really cool because well, basically there is not that much room in in this build. It's a very flat build, and something like an elevator is really kind of unseen before. But there is one over there. So first of all, there's more sticker detailing in the elevator. Those are very hard to apply as well on the inside of that cylinder piece. And as you can see, you can put a figure on this Technic piece and move them up and down and kind of pretend that this is the elevator. Now the elevator goes to kind of the seat of Snoke, so the Supreme Leader. It has some dashboard as well, another sticker. You're kind of getting the point. There is a lot of stickers in this set. And there you get one of those hooded nano figures, which in this case would probably symbolize Kylo Ren. But this is basically the place where you put Supreme Leader Snoke. So you can actually kind of play that you walk from here to there. So there's a lot of playability. And here again, there is so much room for figures. You could put, I guess, another 10 or so in here without trouble. And then an 11th one over there to be Supreme Leader Snoke. So that brings us to the last area of the Star Destroyer. And that is this kind of an area that we know from the movie. So as you can see, there is a huge, huge dashboard. It's a little bit hard to, let me see if I can get the camera in a different angle. Huge console stickers with screens and such. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stickers in this single console over here. But basically, this is the room where Kylo Ren is told that the droid has escaped with a girl, and he slashes his lightsaber through the console and kind of scares the living daylights out of one of the First Order officers. So no real functionality here, except for maybe the blaster holders over there you could use, but nothing special. There is, now I have to walk around a little bit to give you some more info, but there is, and it's very hard to see, a doorway over here, which basically ends up in the meeting area that I showed you over there. So you can actually see my finger over here. You can actually walk through and you'll get to the elevator, and there is some stairs over here that kind of lead up to a pathway back to the bridge piece. So there's lots and lots going on. I'm going to put my camera back for a second over here. Lots and lots going on the inside of this Star Destroyer. and that is something really, truly awesome to see. So much space, so much playability, and that is something that really has improved since the previous model. So I'm gonna flip everything back again. As you can see, this is kind of effortless. It's not very hard. It is kind of heavy though to do all that. We're gonna have a look at the last angle, but not very unimportant, and that is the engine. So normally I wouldn't pay attention to the engines that much, but for Star Destroyers that is an important part of the build. It's why they look so cool, and again I think this is a big improvement compared to the last Star Destroyer model that we had. So there's 8 of these smaller engines and 3 large ones, of which the left one is attached a little bit too low, so they're kind of hanging here. So you can actually, as you can see, turn those, but they're supposed to be like this, evenly distributed. I think this looks absolutely really cool. And the previous model kind of had them sticking out more, and these are, if you look from the top, way more covered up by kind of what is the exhaust of the ship. So there is they're quite deep inside of the ship, meaning that from the outside you only see them from the back, which is exactly how it should be in my opinion. So another angle from which it looks great, and the overall dart shape of this ship is just amazingly successful, and the asymmetry of the whole thing, because the greebling is not completely the same on both sides, although it is very similar. So putting it over here again, here are the figures. So what would I say about the set? Well, it's quite expensive at $160 or 150 euros at recommended retail price. You get 7 figures, but like I told you, there's basically 5.5, and that is really low for such an expensive build. There are sets with more minifigures that are way cheaper. Snoke is about to be no longer exclusive to the set, so that is no specialty anymore. BB9E and the officer are exclusive, I believe, and the crew member, but that is nothing. That's not something that you buy a 150 euro set for. The ship itself is absolutely amazing. The piece count is 1400, so piece price ratio is okay. I think this is a great set. I can really recommend it, especially if it's on sale, like 10%, 20% off. This is basically a no-brainer, and in my opinion, the best Star Destroyer that LEGO has made to date. The only big downsides are, like I said, the minifigure count and the insane amount of stickers, and basically how hard the stickers are to apply. So that's it for this review, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it, and you can base a decision on this review. If you did like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.